The envelope is thick in your hand, thicker than anything you have ever held before, and you already know that taking it means you will never be the same person again. You are 17 years old, standing in the back room of a butcher shop on a street that smells of iron and old rain. The man across from you has a face like a closed door. He does not smile. He does not explain. He simply sets the envelope on the wooden table between you and steps back, as if the choice belongs entirely to you. You can hear the traffic outside, distant and ordinary, belonging to a world that is already beginning to feel far away. Your fingers close around the envelope. That is all it takes. The first weeks are small things. You drive a car from one neighborhood to another. You wait outside a restaurant for 2 hours and then you leave. You carry a bag and you do not ask what is inside. You learn very quickly that asking questions is not part of this life. Silence is the first language they teach you, and you learn it the way you learn all languages. Not from a book, but from watching what happens to people who speak too much. Nothing dramatic, just a sudden absence, a name that stops being mentioned, a chair at a table that no one sits in anymore. You adapt faster than you expected. That surprises you at first, and then it stops surprising you. There is a version of yourself you imagined would hesitate more, would lie awake longer, would feel the weight of each small crossing. But the body is practical. The mind follows whatever keeps it fed, whatever keeps it safe, whatever gives it a place to belong. And this place, as dark as it is, as heavy as it smells of cigarettes and unspoken threats, gives you all three. By the time you are 20, you know the city the way a doctor knows a body. You know which blocks belong to which men. You know which bars are counting rooms and which restaurants are just restaurants. You know the difference between a warning and a promise. You carry yourself differently now. There is a stillness in you that other people notice, a stillness that comes not from peace, but from certainty. You know exactly how dangerous the world is, and that knowledge, strange as it sounds, makes you feel calm. The men around you become your entire universe. You eat with them. You wait with them through long, cold nights in parked cars. You share bad coffee and worse jokes. You learn that loyalty here is not a sentiment. It is a practice, a daily discipline, like prayer. You do what you are told. You protect what you are told to protect. You stand where you are told to stand. And slowly, without ceremony, you are trusted with more. The defining moment, when it comes, does not announce itself. It arrives on a Tuesday afternoon, gray and unremarkable. You are sitting in a car with a man named Caruso, who has been in this life for 30 years and has the eyes of someone who has forgotten how to be surprised. He tells you that a man named Pellegrino has been speaking to people he should not be speaking to. He does not tell you what to do. He simply tells you the facts, and then he looks out the window. The silence that follows is the instruction. You understand it completely, and you do not flinch. You do not argue. You do not ask for time to think. You simply nod. And that nod, small and quiet as it is, carries more weight than anything you have ever said aloud. After that night, something shifts, not in them, in you. You rise. That is the word they use, and it is the right one. You rise the way smoke rises, without effort, without intention, simply because the conditions are exactly right. You are given more men to direct. You are given territory. You are given a seat at certain tables where decisions are made that ordinary people will feel for years without ever knowing where they came from. You dress better, you eat better, you move through the city with a kind of gravity that parts the air in front of you. But power, you learn, is not what you imagined it would feel like. You imagined it would feel like freedom. Instead, it feels like weight. The more you are given, the less you can put down. You stop sleeping through the night, not from fear exactly, but from a kind of constant alertness that no longer has an off switch. You sit in beautiful rooms with expensive furniture, and you feel the walls measuring you. You shake hands with men who smile at you, and you know with absolute certainty that half of them would trade you for the right price. The people you grew up with begin to disappear from your life, not violently, just gradually, the way the light leaves a room when the sun moves. Your mother still calls. You answer sometimes. The conversations are short and full of a mutual pretending that exhausts you both. She does not ask about your work. You do not offer. There is a version of you she has preserved in her mind, a younger, cleaner version. And you have come to understand that keeping her from the truth is the last genuinely gentle thing you do. You begin to notice the doubt, not as a single thought, but as a texture. Everything starts to feel slightly hollow, like a room where the furniture looks real, but nothing has any weight. You watch younger men come into this life the way you once came, hungry and alert, and full of a raw energy that has not yet been organized into cruelty. You watch them take their first envelopes. You watch the decision move across their faces. And you feel something you cannot name, something between pity and recognition, and a grief that has no proper object. There is a night, years into all of this, when you are sitting alone in a car outside a church, of all places. The service inside has just ended, and people are coming out into the cold air, pulling their coats tighter, reaching for their children's hands. You watch a man lift a small girl onto his shoulders. She laughs and grips his hair. He reaches up to steady her ankles without thinking, the way people reach for things they cannot imagine losing. You watch this for a long time. Then you look at your own hands on the steering wheel, and you sit with a thought that has no clean edges. You have protected things. You tell yourself this. You have kept certain streets quiet. You have made sure certain families were not touched. You have, in your own architecture of justification, drawn lines. But lines drawn in the dark are not the same as lines drawn in the light. You know this. You have always known this. The knowing has simply lived beneath the surface, patient and unhurried, waiting for a night exactly like this one. The years do not erase what you have done. They bury it, which is different. The past does not go away. It goes underground, where it runs like water through stone, shaping everything from below without ever showing itself. You carry it in the way you hold a room, in the way you sit with your back to the wall, in the way you never fully trust silence, because you have used silence as a weapon too many times to believe it is ever truly empty. There is no exit in this life that looks like what you used to call escape. You understand this now with a clarity that feels almost like peace. The door you walked through that first day was not the kind that swings both ways. Every choice after that was made inside a room that was already sealed, not by force, by you. By the 1,000 small daily decisions that seemed, each one, entirely reasonable at the time. You are still alive. That counts for something, though you are no longer certain what exactly it counts toward. You have seen men die with regret on their faces and men die without it, and you have never been entirely sure which was worse. You have given orders that change the shapes of other people's lives in ways that cannot be undone. And you have sat with that knowledge at enough quiet tables that it no longer shocks you, which is perhaps the most honest thing you know about yourself. The city still moves outside your window, the same streets, the same light in the morning, the same particular gray of a sky before rain. You watch it the way you watch everything now, with attention and distance at the same time. You think about the boy in the butcher shop, the envelope on the table, the pause that lasted only a second before you reached out your hand. And you wonder, not for the first time and not for the last, whether that pause was long enough to have been a choice at all.